Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Sunday morning simulcast with Rom Wills. It's not them, it's you. Yeah, it's cliche. It's cliche when people, maybe a couple breaks up or something happens and they'll say, oh, no, it's not you. It's me. But there's actually some truth in that. There's actually some truth, though people are really facetious when they use that term. See, understand something. I'll use an example everybody knows. Relationships. You have a woman, she'll go out with 20 men, get dogged out by 20 men used the same way every time. And so she'll get on a message board or with her girlfriends and say, oh, these men are dogs. All these men are dogs. I've told quite a few women what the real deal was. I said, well, if they dogs, you must be the dog catcher. You must be the dog because the only thing they have in common is you. Man, I've told men the same thing. You get men who will come up here and they'll say, oh, these women are bad. They're terrible. And I'll just be like, well, only thing these women have in common is you. Understand something. If you keep running into a certain personality trait in people, like the same type, I'm going to tell you what. Yes, those people have those negative traits. I mean, we're not going to deny that. We ain't going to say it's your imagination they did some foul stuff. But what was it about you that kept running into them? Or even found them attractive? Or they found you attractive? Because you're the only thing they have in common. If you constantly running into bad situations, it doesn't have to be relationships, bad situations. It ain't the situations, it's you. If you constantly get on a job, like I remember a woman. Every time she got on a job, she would get fired. She would get fired. And she would have trouble. And she couldn't figure out why. And it was just like, but, working with the woman, you see what it was. It was her. It was her behavior. And see, it's powerful when you say that. And it's not like blaming the victim or blaming yourself. No, far from it. It's actually empowering to know that it's you. You're the common denominator. What is it you're doing? Because you can't control another person's behavior. You can't change them. And some people try to. They'll just say, well, it's all these people. They should do this. No, you can't change another human being because you have no way to control them. You don't have any power over them. You can't use a gun and say, hey, you change your behavior. You could try to coerce them. Some people do. If they have control of them, like their kids acting up or something like that. Or all these people, and they'll try to say, well, I got to do this because all these people treat me. Well, what is it in you? Because if you deal with what's inside of you and say, well, wait a minute, what am I giving off? Why are these people, and it could be anything. It don't have to be anything where you're necessarily doing anything evil. Like if you constantly get people trying to take advantage of you, well, that's a signal to you to maybe grow a backbone. You might have to speak up. You can't be mousy. If you're a man out here and women constantly coming to you for money or constantly only taking it for you, you got to look inside yourself. It might be a situation where you're leading with your wallet. And as soon as you talk to the woman, the first thing out of your mouth is, well, I got this money, I got this. Right? That could be the situation. So to change it, you might have to pull back, be a little bit modest with your money. Or a woman, she keep running into these dogs, but she's very agreeable. And she's going for the bullshit they giving her. Now, instead of getting mad at the guys for being who they are, she has to ask herself, well, how come I'm not attracted to this other guy? Or the guys who are going to treat me right? See, you can control that. See, when you take responsibility on yourself, it's liberating. I mean, it's very easy. It's very easy to say everybody else doing this, they doing this. But the hardest thing is to look in the mirror. Look in the mirror and say, well, okay, why is this happening? Why are you doing this? And you know what's funny? It's not always a bad thing on your part. It's not always a bad thing. Like I knew a guy, y'all know I talk about relationships. A guy was wondering How come women might have dealt with like his friends in a different way than him? Like, they get with his friends, they want to party and everything. They want to have fun. They want to be, do all the fun stuff, party. But then when they get with him, they want to be more serious. They talking about more things of substance, and the guy's wondering why. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. It could be they see him as a more serious person, a person of substance. So women in those situations, they tend to take them more seriously. They thinking long term. The other guy's just a party guy. Now, it might mean you might need to loosen up, or it might mean you just need to accept, okay, they see me as serious, so let me focus on that. But whatever the case, you have control over it. You have a choice over it. When you say it's you, when people take responsibility for their own thing, and not blame people or some mythological being who is tempting them, that is so powerful, because you got control over that. You can make a decision. And you know what? You might say, you know what? I'm all right with what I am, even if it's causing you some trouble. But remember, that's still your choice too. You're not forced to change. But if you want to change, if you want circumstances to change, you have to change the circumstances within yourself. There's a lot of people out there that might do spiritual work. And I'm not going to get too deep into that now, but really the spiritual work is not to change or make something happen out in the universe, but to change with something within. Like, say they do some spiritual work to make $1 million. Nothing's happening in the outside world. There's no magical forces that's bringing that $1 million. But the real work is changing the person so they can become a person who will work hard to make $1 million. See, it's all within. All change is within. That's the key to it. So once you say that, once you start looking within, that's when you can take it to a new level. I mean, it's something I practice now. I just don't say it. If I talk about something, it means I've been practicing. I've noticed, I'm not going to say how much I make, but I've noticed my income has grown exponentially once I started looking at what I could do within myself to make more money. Like exponentially. And it was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of I say time wasting habits I had. They weren't necessarily bad, but I was like, well, I could watch this TV show, or I could be working on a project, or I could be sitting around just putting around surfing the internet, or I could be at the gym working out. And it's increased because it's like, well, you have the time, but what are you doing with it? Now, I didn't blame people for not buying products or say, oh, they should give me more donations or support or sit through commercials. I just said, okay, what can I do to increase the amount of money I have in my pocket? What can I do? And the answer was very simple, but it was an answer that caused me to look within and say, okay, I need to change some stuff. I had to look at time management. And it was just a little bit of a change, and it was like incredible. And there's still some things I'm looking within. I'm just like, oh, okay, wait a minute, I gotta do this or that so I can even get more. Because then you start looking at it, it's like, oh wait. But then one of the things you realize is no one can stop you. They can try, but no one can stop you because you're not dependent on what they're doing. Everything you're doing is within. And then what happens is people have to respond to what you're doing. But ultimately, the power is within. The power is within. You have to look within. You can't blame everybody else for your circumstances. You're in the position you're in because of yourself. Now, yeah, people doing stuff all the time, but it's still your reaction to what they're doing, which you have ultimate control over. That's the greatest power in the universe. So anyway, that's all I have for now. Peace and blessings, everyone. Continue to rise and transform.